We are now in Iraq, July 1979. In a local theater hall, the new president has called his fellow party members to a meeting. No one knew why this meeting was called, since it wasn't a scheduled one. The worry grew when party members saw intelligence agents surrounding the hall, walking in and watching everyone, while nobody knew what was really happening. The newly appointed president enters the hall. It has been less than a week since he became the president of Iraq. The hall is packed with hundreds of party officials. This is their first gathering under the newly declared president after the resignation of the former leader, Ahmed Hassan al-Bakr. His name is Saddam Hussein. The president walking up to the stage, his personal bodyguard right behind him. The whole hall erupts in heavy applause. Then, with calm authority, he begins speaking.
اللي متغيب من أعضاء الفروع أو المكاتب أو الشعب الرفيق المسؤول يقوم يقول لنا من اللي متغيب.
He calmly asks each official to stand and say the names of those who are absent from the meeting. The hall falls into a heavy silence. One by one, they rise and read out the names of those who are absent, while Saddam quietly listens, shuffling his papers and glancing at his notes. Beyond the theater walls, the heat pushes above 40 degrees Celsius. Inside, the hall is packed. A heavy atmosphere hangs over the room, unease etched across every face, as the president rises to reveal the reason for this gathering, saying,
بعض الخونة في داخل القيادة مع آخرين لا زالوا موجودين بين صفوفكم الآن.
The room was in complete silence, while Saddam's terrifying presence controlled the hall.
وكان في ذهننا أن نطول خلق أكثر رغم خطورة التآمر اللي راح تسمعوه، ولكن جت الظروف اللي شدد بيها الرفيق المناضل أحمد حسن البكر على ضرورة خروجه للأسباب اللي وضحها في خطابه، لكي تجعلنا مضطرين للبداية بأحد المتآمرين من أعضاء القيادة، هو محي عبد الحسين وقاعد الآن بينصف.
Then Saddam calls out the name of the former president's secretary.
يتفضل محي يحكي لكم عن الأمور اللي أوجزتكم.
A tall, slender man of middle age begins walking down the aisle and ascends the stage. His name is Muhyi Abdul Hussein al-Shamari, a member of the Revolutionary Command Council, a powerful figure, and a leading Iraqi official in the party. He now walks up to the stage, while Saddam Hussein sits at another table, lighting a thick Cuban cigar. With a calm voice, Muhyi al-Din delivers a public confession of conspiring against the Iraqi government. He admits that he himself planned the plot against Saddam Hussein, conspiring with senior party members in high positions. He claims that since 1975, he had formed a secret faction within the party, persuading others to join and coordinating with Syria to overthrow the new leadership. He places a heavy responsibility on himself for this betrayal, while also naming others as being involved. Every name he mentioned was taken out of the hall, with no one knowing where they were being led. He gave details about the places and gatherings where the meetings were held, the timeline of documents, and plans for the conspiracy. In the end, he declared his regret and repeated slogans of loyalty to the party, a scene that looked like public humiliation. But all of this was nothing but a lie. Just days earlier, a power struggle had erupted between Saddam Hussein and President Ahmed Hassan al-Bakr over who would truly lead Iraq. Muhyi al-Shamari was well known for his unwavering loyalty to al-Bakr, often siding with him during party meetings. By the summer of 1979, al-Bakr, under unbearable pressure from Saddam, announced his intention to hand over the presidency to him. During a key party meeting, however, some members voiced opposition to this transfer of power. Among them was Muhyi al-Shamari. He leaned toward al-Bakr, whispering, "Don't step down." He repeated it again and again until al-Bakr noticed. Angry al-Bakr snapped that it was his decision. Then Saddam suddenly shouted, "Muhyi, what does that mean?" Did you deny al-Bakr the right to make his own choice? The very next day, Muhyi al-Shamari was abducted by Saddam's men and thrown into custody. 5 days later, al-Bakr appeared on state television, announcing his resignation. By then, al-Shamari was already in Saddam's hands. When he showed up at the party meeting, he delivered a chilling testimony, naming some of party members. It later came out that he had been tortured, and his family threatened. He was told that if he didn't obey, he would be forced to watch his wife and daughters being raped in front of him by Saddam's soldiers. With no choice left, he had to comply to save his family. Afterwards, he was brought into the hall, then dragged onto the stage and forced to make a public confession that he had conspired against Iraq. He lied about his own role and the roles of other party members in the plot against the new regime. And with that, his speech ended. Once he finished, Saddam took the podium, pulled out a Cuban cigar, lit it, then looked at the audience and said, "What should be done with these traitors? You know the answer. There is no other way but the sword." The party members in the hall began clapping desperately. Even a slight hesitation in their applause could be interpreted as a lack of loyalty. And here came the moment that terrified everyone in the room.
اللي راح أقرأ اسمه يقوم يردد الشعار ويلحق ربعه.
Then he began calling the names of the traitors. Despite their fear, those whose names were called obeyed the orders. But one man appeared visibly confused. When his name was called, he shouted in shock, "I haven't done anything." Saddam didn't even look at him. The man lowered his head, submitted, and left the hall weighed down with fear. Saddam continued calling names until he had read 68. Afterwards, he thanked the remaining members for their loyalty. Everyone in the hall stood, clapping intensely and cheering. Some even broke down in tears, terrified, as Saddam had shown them in that moment that he could decide their fate without a fair trial. Even on the stage, Saddam shed a few tears for his comrades as a reminder of what awaited them. Outside, those whose names had been called were gathered into military trucks and taken to the security services prison. In the following days, extraordinary and swift military trials were held. These trials were mere formalities to justify decisions that had already been made. Most were charged accused of betraying the country with Syria and plotting against Saddam. In the same month as the party meeting, around 22 of them were executed by firing squad, while others were sentenced to life imprisonment or later tortured and executed. It was even said that some party leaders were executed by their own colleagues on Saddam's orders to spread more the fear. Fear of Saddam did not begin with the purges. It had been building for years. Saddam was not just the vice president under Ahmed Hassan al-Bakr. He was in charge of security and intelligence. He founded the national security apparatus and oversaw arrests and assassinations of opponents. His reputation for brutality was well known across Iraq. People knew he had a network of informants and that a single word against the party could lead to disappearance, torture, or imprisonment. Saddam was capable of using violence without mercy, and he had systematic methods of torture against his opponents. Even before becoming president, he was involved in political manipulations, including an attempt to overthrow Abdul Karim Qasim in 1959. These events linked his image to violence from a young age. As vice president, even within the party, he was seen as harsher and more ruthless than President al-Bakr himself. Many obeyed him not only out of respect, but out of fear of his revenge. The purpose of the Khald Hall meeting was to intimidate the party leaders. It was meant to show Saddam's total power and control, and to make his enemies, and anyone thinking of opposing him, afraid. What happened in the hall was both public and symbolic. It sent a clear warning to the party members inside about what could happen to them. Everyone felt that their lives depended on one thing: loyalty to Saddam. The 1979 Khald Hall meeting was never allowed to be discussed or made public in Iraq. The recording was shared only with the party's top leaders, under strict orders to keep it secret. It did not become available to the public until the US invasion and occupation of Iraq in 2003, when the security and party archives were looted.